welcome along into the Sporty Show. The Rossoneri are crowned the Supercoppa Italiana champs. Nottingham Forest is in the run for the title. And what will happen this evening with Arsenal and Newcastle? Lots to discuss, as always. I'm Sara Pararia, joined by the one and only Mr. KlintonCod.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? It's boy KlintonCod. As usual, we're back, baby. Just about to... You know what, let's introduce Alex Ashma. Alex, what's up? I know I'm going to get into that hole. No, I didn't lose. I know that where I was about to go into, by the time I finish, right, would have gone half into the show. So let's just get into the show proper.
You stopped while you're ahead.
Yes, exactly.
Good thinking.
All right, guys, this is what's coming up this week on SportyTV. Right after today's show, we have Saudi Kings Cup Al Tawoun taking on Al Qasidia. And we have Al Hilal and not Cristiano Ronaldo, excuse me, Karim Benzema, Al Ittihad later on, as well as Arsenal taking on Newcastle in the Carabao Cup this evening. That should be a really good one. Tomorrow we have Tottenham Hotspur taking on Liverpool in the Carabao Cup as well. Thursday we have Melbourne versus Western United, as well as Real Madrid taking on Mallorca in the Spanish Supercoppa, as well as Al Ali and Al Shabab. La Liga match of the week is Rayo Vallecano versus Celta on Friday. We have Perth Glory taking on Auckland, Al Aroba and Al Hilal. We have Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga taking on Bayern Munich. Oviedo versus Sporting in La Liga Hypermotion, and the Serie A match of the week is Venezia versus Inter Milan, and the Spanish Super Cup final as well. To be decided between Real Madrid, Barcelona, Athletic Bilbao, or Mallorca. Final is on Sunday right here on SportyTV. So, gentlemen, let's get into it. Lots to discuss. And let's start off with the Supercoppa Italiana, because my oh my, was that a final that we have missed in Serie A football. Alex, Inter go ahead 2-0 with goals from Lautaro Martinez, which, what a goal that was from him. And Mehdi Taremi, it looked like it was all wrapped up, but out of nowhere, AC Milan bring it back. We see Theo Hernandez get on the board, Christian Pulisic, who's been in such good form, and out of all people, it's Tammy Abraham who scores the winner. But my oh my, Sergio Conceição, 2 matches in and a trophy to show for it.
Yeah, isn't it the shortest tenure a manager of AC Milan has had and won a trophy since, I think, 1929 or something like that? So yeah, no, impressive. And I think to come from 2-0 down in any game is impressive, but to do it in a final against your arch rivals makes it even sweeter. And that's what 2 derby wins for AC Milan this season over Inter Milan. You know, I think Inter probably could have scored a few more. They will rue some missed chances. Well, some really good goals from both sides and a really entertaining game as well.
Clinton, does this give you hope for Italian football? Because I know, you know, over the past years, we've seen a dip in the Serie A, and it slowly seems to be coming back. But these kind of games where it really comes down to the final minute, a team is down 2-0, they come back to score 3 goals. The third goal is literally in the final 30 seconds. This is really what a final is all about, especially for us who are neutral fans here. We just want to watch good football.
Yeah, man, for me, I feel like if it was maybe Inter Milan versus some team based in England, let's say this was some kind of Champions League football, I would understand that, okay, Syria, you know, the games are beginning to change. But if they are playing against themselves, I still don't see it as anything special. I just see it as you've just gone to fight your mate and somehow you're able to get a win. So, yeah, you know, they should just be happy in their horizon. But if they're able to do exactly what they've done in a kind of a match that means is, say, Inter Milan versus Real Madrid or AC Milan versus Real Madrid, and they've come from behind and they've won like that, I'll be like, okay, I think we need to start paying attention to Syria. But if they're fighting against themselves, I don't really see anything magical there.
That's horrible.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, but this is me.
We'll slowly get Clinton onto the Serie A. Alex, this was Sergio Conceição's post-match dance. I don't know if we have that video to bring back up, but this went viral everywhere. He was having the best time of his life here.
He was.
You think you can dance like that?
Maybe not quite as good as that. He's got some rather smooth moves, especially with a cigar in his mouth. It looks even cooler.
He's been in charge for 2 games, and it's just turned around. And, you know, like you said, it's against Inter, obviously. They're city rivals, but Inter are also 4 points off the top in the Serie A. They've had a much better season so far. Milan's sitting 8th right now, 27 points. So it's not been a great season for them, but getting a trophy could be that boost that they need to maybe turn it around?
Yeah, it's been a mixed season for AC Milan. Obviously beating Real Madrid in the Champions League, you know, getting a result like that they've been short of the mark in Serie A, and you know they're sitting in 8th. They're far short of the pace, and you know I think it was coming, the fact that Paulo Fonseca was going to lose his job. I think it was, you know, it was a case of when, not if, and you know. I was thinking when they appointed Conceição that, you know, it felt like we were talking about this earlier. There aren't many names out there that when you look at, I'm going to sack the manager, I want to appoint someone else. Quite a lot of the big managers are in jobs. So, you know, they've obviously done their research on Conceição and have picked him for the reasons that they have. And hopefully, like you said, this trophy win will spark them up the table because they need it if they're going to have any chance of getting top 4 in Champions League football next season.
And when you look at the players they have, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just literally going to say something regarding my point earlier when I was saying that this whole thing was not very special. When you look at the last time a Serie A team actually won a Champions League, it was in 2010.
Yeah. They went to Milan.
Yeah. So for me, you know, it's still one of that thing that makes you feel like, yeah, there's something that's not really hard enough. You know, in that particular league.
I mean, but would you say, okay, since 2010?
Yeah. But
besides Liverpool and City, it's always been a Spanish team?
But listen, we are talking about the advancement of football. Like, from football has changed over time, right? And the kind of games you see these days is not exactly the same type of game that we saw back in 2010, 2007,
of course.
2010.
But this game was like that.
For me, no, but that's what I'm saying. It was like that because I mean, this could have happened against Atalanta or Inter Milan.
Of course,
Atalanta,
but Inter and Milan is history.
But you see, Atalanta faced a Real Madrid that nobody has any confidence in. And what happened? And Atalanta, who's meant to be one of the best in Serie A. What I'm trying to say here is, I understand that they fight against yourself. That's fine. Like, you know, show all the Nigerians or Africans who say Gidigba, you know, do all your stuff. But bring that same stuff when you face La Liga teams, when you face Premier League teams as well.
But I don't think your point is really good because we all know Atalanta should have beat Real Madrid.
No, but did they?
No, but they had every right to. No, and also Inter Milan was in the Champions League final 2 years ago. Yeah, I think we're seeing a turn. I also just don't think you watch as many games.
No, I don't watch as many Serie A games, yeah, but I still stand to say that I'm not going to compare teams in Italy, you know, to current.
Oh, okay, so Mo Salah is better than Alameda Lookman. And done, folks. All right, let's move on. I love it when it works out. Let's talk about a team you want to talk about, though, Clinton. Nottingham Forest beating Wolves last night at the Molineux 3-0. Morgan Gibbs-White, Chris Wood, 12th Premier League goal, as well as Ian Reary. Clinton, you said you're starting to get nervous about Nottingham Forest because it looks like they're the real deal.
No, absolutely. They are beginning to show signs that they are pretty much a very serious team coming in this particular competition this season. It's crazy because nobody would have ever thought. If we went to look at predictions from people, let's say before the season started, to say which teams are going to be top 4, even by mid-season, nobody would mention Nottingham Forest. It's not even possible. Like, I feel like these are not just dark horses. These are even the darkest horses. Like, they've come from somewhere I don't understand. And they're winning games. For me, it's not even about how they win games. It seems like they're winning convincingly. Bro, these guys are scoring goals. They are playing so well. Listen, we need to go question the coach. We need to go ask what... Listen, Manchester United need to learn from these people. They need to find out what is working with you. That's not what... Because the truth is, on paper, you're not going to compare their players to players from Manchester United. You're not going to compare their players to players from Chelsea. You're not going to compare their players to players in Arsenal, not even in Liverpool. But these guys are competing. They are currently like Brighton 1 or 2 seasons ago. What is going on? I don't know.
United, though.
Sorry?
How silly do United look now, getting rid of Anthony Elanga?
No. See, listen. These are the things. But remember, you see, something I've learned in football recently is football and players is almost like when you want to do kidney transplant. No, hold on. Listen, like, hear me out, all right? Follow me on this journey, right? This
Where are
journey,
you going?
No, this journey is not a car journey. It's not a boat journey. This is a flight, okay? I want to take you on this stuff. Now,
I want to cancel this flight.
No, trust me, you would enjoy this flight I'm about taking you on. Trust me, right? This is the only flight that has only one pilot, and we are going to land safely. Listen, now, when you want to do kidney transplants, right, they have to go source hard for kidneys that would match your system. If it doesn't match, what happens? Your system will reject it, and it just means that you might end up dying, right? There are players whom they could be good, but they don't fit into a particular system.
right? And that's why you would see them messing up and you would think that these players are just bad. They are not bad. It's just that that system, that kind of play, the arrangement of the team is not where they should be. So that's why when they go into the body that accepts that organ, that player, Elanga as an example, right? Before they would have gotten rid of him, they probably felt like he wasn't good enough. But he's now got, look at even the guy, Hudson-Odoi. Look at the way Chelsea got rid of him. Yeah? It wasn't that they were bad players, but it was just that system, that team at that point was not doing it for them. A lot of Chelsea players left Chelsea. Some of them went to AC Milan. They turned to beast players, right? Look at Christian Pulisic today. Look at Loftus-Cheek. Look at most of them. They leave Chelsea and they become beasts. I'm telling you, Anthony of Manchester United, whom we think, he was a player from Ajax who was so good. He came to Manchester United and he suddenly turned to a really nice model who, before he comes to the pitch, he will give you some kind of, and then he comes in and he starts flopping again as usual, right? But I bet you that if this guy goes into a whole different team, you'll probably see the Anthony we've not seen before. So this whole thing is about, players playing in the Premier League. You cannot be that bad that you perform in a team and and it feels like you're not doing it. It doesn't mean you're bad. It just means that maybe you need a change. Maybe at this point, Marcus Rashford is one of those that needs a change, right? Alejandro Garnacho is getting to that point where I'm beginning to think, okay, maybe that DNA of Cristiano Ronaldo that we thought you had, right? We just didn't see it correctly. You might be one of those players that we might start needing to transport.
Well, let's circle back to Newcastle a bit because we went a little on the.
Sorry. No, that's true.
Let's give some credit to Newcastle and not talk about Manchester United and their.
No, it wasn't even Newcastle. It was Nottingham Forest.
Sorry, Nottingham Forest.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes, Newcastle's later.
No, but honestly, big credit to Nottingham Forest. I'm really, really happy to see what's going on with that team. I'm very happy with the coach. At some point, the coach was the guy that people didn't believe in, but this season they've come
They got
with
sacked from Wolves.
Nah, literally.
Full circle moment right here.
No, exactly. He's come with Abido Sheka. He's come with Indabuski Bahose. He's come with all kinds, and he's working. They are sitting currently on second in the league, right?
They're tied with Arsenal right now for second, tied for points. Alex, last season, Nottingham was fighting to stay out of relegation. They finished 17th in the Prem. Nuno Espirito Santo must be a thought for manager of the season so far.
Yeah.
We're at the halfway point, but okay. Theoretically, let's do a little theoretical because we did a lot yesterday. Let's bring it back. Let's say Liverpool win with Arne Slot. Obviously, there's a shout for Arne Slot. He comes in after Klopp. But in my opinion, if a team like Nottingham Forest with those players finishes in top 4, I think you have to give it to Nuno Espirito Santo.
Bro, if he finished top 4, to me, that's him. He won the league.
But exactly. It doesn't matter if Liverpool and Arne Slot win because Klopp had already built a foundation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's nothing against Arne Slot, but what Santo is doing with this team.
It's
a
crazy.
Team that is fighting for relegation.
Bro, for me, it's equivalent to what's the name of the guy that, took the former Brighton coach? For me, that's...
Graham Potter.
Yeah. No, the one, he's gone to...
De Zerbi.
Yeah, De Zerbi, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
Listen, these are coaches who understand the assignment. Yeah? And Slot, we're not trying to say it's bad because one thing is handing over a team like Liverpool to you and being able to maintain.
100%.
There are some coaches who you give them that team and they probably go to 7th or 12th in the Premier League. But he's kept it and he's actually turned Liverpool to becoming even a pro version of what Klopp left Liverpool with him. And give him credit. But the main credit I'm giving right here is what's happening with Nottingham Forest. This to me is scary. No, listen, we are not talking about a team like Crystal Palace, whom we would say that you guys can play football, right? I'm not talking about Brighton. I'm not talking about say team like Leicester, whom we know they've won Premier League before. We're talking about Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest. Like, yesterday I was telling you, Forest. Do you know what Forest is? Forest is people don't go there. Like you're nowhere close to where you are now. They've literally left the forest. They've now come into the city, and they've taken city out of the city. No, that's exactly what is going on with the Premier League. So heavy credits to Nottingham Forest, bro. All the 9. Well, wait. How many Nigerian players do we have in Nottingham Forest, by the way?
Olaina?
Yeah, we have Olaina. I think. Oh no, this other one is in Fulham. I was going to say Calvin Bassey. But all I know though, massive credit to that man because he's solid. There's some rumor that he's going to. Apparently, he's coming to Manchester United. I think I heard this.
Oh, that's long for him.
Nah, but Nottingham Forest, yo. I hope they finish top 4.
I think there were
This
clues.
guy who scored yesterday, Awani.
Oh, Awoni, yes, Awoni as well. Yeah. That's it. Somebody I was trying to remember.
Emotional reaction actually after he scored. Like you could see what
No,
that.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll tell you what's happened with Awoni. It's only the fact that recently they felt like maybe he's dropped form or something, and he's not been starting games. Awoni was the man at some point. Awoni was scoring a lot of goals in the Premier League. Awoni was literally becoming the guy that we saw Iheanacho as the senior man, and everybody was just so proud of the whole thing. And all of a sudden, it felt like the stats started, dropping down a bit. So yesterday when he came on to score and he's giving that kind of behavior, and I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, he's the second Nigerian I'm going to give my very huge congratulations to for Nottingham Forest. I'm really proud of them. I'm proud for the fact that Nigerians are part of that project, So yeah.
I think there were clues about how, perhaps he got judged for his short spell at Tottenham, but Nuno Espirito Santo, the job he did at Wolves, he was there, he managed just under 200 games. He won 48% of them.
That was like when it was the Portuguese national team.
And, he got them to play in Europe. And, he did an unbelievable job. Didn't quite do the same at Spurs, but, we've seen how Ange Postecoglou's come in and struggled the same way. And, he did a good job at Al Ittihad. And, he's a very good manager, an astute manager. And the players that they have, I think they've done well to keep a core group of players. Yes, some of the players that were... fighting for relegation, I think, have come through this. And you look at the signings they made, Elanga, they brought in Hudson-Odoi, who's now become one of their mainstays, and Matt Sells in goal, who did a really good job last night. And as a team, they're solid, and they're not relying on one player.
Absolutely.
Chris Wood up front.
Has the same amount of goals as Cole Palmer, by the way, Alex.
No, but that's some crazy stuff, though.
That is that as a stat alone. Chris
But
Wood has the
to
same
be fair
number
to
of goals.
Chris Wood, he is a striker. Cole Palmer's a midfielder.
That's yeah.
He also plays for Chelsea. He plays for Nottingham Forest.
It's true. Well, we should give credit to Nottingham Forest.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like I
Chris
don't
Wood
think...
is, he's one of, I think, one of the
fifth in the
most
Premier
underrated
League.
strikers in the world.
I was literally just going to say that. I feel like he should be in that conversations when we mention the likes of Haaland, we mention the likes of Nicholas Jackson, we mention the likes of even Durant. Like, I don't understand why we don't speak about Chris Wood at all, because this guy has scored ridiculous goals that even this, ones that we speak a lot about have not even done. Like, I'm talking about the quality of goals now. There are goals and there are quality of goals. Like, Chris Wood scores really amazing goals. And he's never he's never in that conversation. But then again, why? It's because it's Nottingham Forest. Obviously.
Yeah. But is it time that we need to start taking Nottingham Forest seriously? Because we're at the halfway point now.
Yeah.
And I think, and I've said it here, that I want to wait until about February. I've always said that kind of really determines which teams have the depth, which teams have, the motivation, which teams are not suffering from the injuries. There are a lot of factors, but that's usually the time where you can start to see, all right, they're going to peel off. We've seen it with Newcastle in the past. We've seen it with Brighton. Do you think that Forest are going to be different? Are they going to be able to continue this run that they're on and finish in a top 4 spot, Clinton?
First of all, I feel like with how much they've gone from the start of the season to where they are now, is already some serious confidence booster for them to even carry on, right? Now, do I see them playing to this same level till the end? I see them doing it. Because the truth is, this is probably the furthest that Nottingham Forest have come in football in such a long time, right? Most times they will be struggling at the relegation zones, or they're even looking at playing championship football.
Let's not forget this club has won the European Cup twice.
Nah, but how long ago though?
No, this is obviously
quite
a long time.
Nah, I mean, you probably were not even born. Like, that's the reason.
I think you were, though.
Nah, but I definitely see them, because the greatest motivation they have now is that they are sitting in top 4 mid-season. To me, this is an achievement. Even if they don't even make it to the end, trust me, they have done a lot already. Mind you, last season, this is a team that was fighting relegation. Like, they were always on that middle 3, or maybe one. There's that, maybe Everton would do one thing and Everton would, like, they were just swapping positions around the bottom, right? And now they are swapping positions at the top.
Did any of us have them in our
Nobody would
bottom
have
three?
it. Nobody would have it.
At our Premier League predictions. At the beginning
Nobody.
of the season.
Of course not.
Nobody.
Don't think we
You
did.
guys also both
Nobody.
had City winning, and neither of
Everybody-
you had Chelsea.
I mean, let's not talk about that.
I'm really feeling good about mine. But no, none of us, absolutely not. We did not have
No,
Nottingham
definitely,
Forest. I'm not sure if anyone in the world.
No, that's what I'm trying. That's
Like,
listen,
you must have had like one person that goes, I'm
Bro,
just going to swing it.
bro. Not even them. Not even listen. Not even Awuni. Not even Hotzi. Not even the coach knew.
Yeah, no.
All they wanted to play. In fact, they were the team that were at Chelsea now, saying we just want to play and win games. Literally, this is what it is. We don't want Chelsea. They are like, yeah, we are not in the title race. Nottingham Forest is, we are not in any race. We just want to make sure we stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But right now, they are not just in the Premier League. They're about to buy the Premier League. This is crazy.
It's brilliant.
And bro, we need to speak more about Nottingham Forest.
And we will. And I think these are the stories that we love to see in football. You know, the Leicester of 2016, like these kind of stories are
absolutely,
so,
yeah.
you know, they're heartwarming. Just like, let's say even Luton last year, I know they got relegated, but their whole stadium and the fact that it had to be built because it was so small. And like, these are really heartwarming stories. Markinde says that if they end up in the top four this season, they'll be relegated next season. Clinton, you kind of said something about this because everyone's going to pick them apart. But listen, we know what happens when a team does really well and they tend to be a smaller team. But let's enjoy this moment.
I mean, this is literally what we should do.
There's
Fact is, sorry, go on.
a small stat that I really like. So the longest winning run in the Premier League across all teams this season is 6 games. And that is Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it's not City.
Funny enough,
It's not
I did see this stats. Was it yesterday or this morning? And I don't know when we were sitting and chatting. I was literally just going to bring that up because I was looking at how many. I was looking at the past 5 games, and when you look at the top 5, right, all of them they've lost 1 or 2. Nottingham Forest have literally just gone.
Yeah.
Literally, they've hardly. And my question is how.
I mean, it's between
But how,
them,
though?
in terms of informed teams at the moment, it's them and Newcastle.
Oh, 100%. Yep. And if not for the fact that Chelsea have just started beginning to flop, I probably would have sneaked Chelsea in. But Chelsea, like I said yesterday, they are just those people that anybody going to the bathroom to shag and
Stop.
No, but it's true though.
Let's leave that in yesterday. All right, well, speaking of Newcastle, let's talk about Newcastle because they're playing Arsenal this evening in the first leg of the semi-final in the Carabao Cup. That's on SportyTV. Friendly reminder, Clinton, Arsenal faced with some unfortunate injuries. We've seen what happened to Saka. You know, Martin Odegaard, in my opinion, hasn't been the same since he's returned. He hasn't been that leader, that engine that we talk about so frequently. And now Nwaneri is meant to be out for up to 10 games.
Couple of weeks, yeah.
A couple of weeks, but important weeks, nevertheless. So they're going to be hosting Newcastle this evening. First leg, what do you expect of them? And can they get the job done against, like Alex said, a very informed Newcastle side?
Well, first of all, I think this game is definitely a loss. Now, if you're betting on SportyBet, this one is very easy. I'm telling you, just go bet on Newcastle. There's no way. Let me tell you something about Arsenal, right? Arsenal, they are the team that I love them for something. When they face small teams, they will show small teams that we are class. They will show. So it's like the opposite of Manchester United, where they face big teams, they turn up. They get the small teams and they flop. Arsenal is like when we face the small ones, no doubt. Even if you score us first, we're going to come back and score you 3 of them.
Like they did
right?
against Fulham and Brighton.
I can't remember what happened there.
They drew.
Okay, they drew. I mean, but they didn't lose though. No,
True.
but they didn't lose.
It's true.
But this is Arsenal. See, Arsenal is almost like Real Madrid to me, right? Real Madrid, no matter what happens, whether big team, small team, the worst thing that if you beat Real Madrid, it just means that you are very good. Now, even in their lowest, their poorest, the least that would happen is they would draw a game. Or they would find a way to win.
in 13 games
Wow,
across
which
all
is
competitions.
exactly so. Which is to tell you that Real. Well, let's not get into Real Madrid.
Stop.
Right. But now this game, Odegaard is out.
No,
Is he in?
he's in.
He's in. Saka is out.
Saka's out.
Nwaneri is out.
Yeah.
Nwaneri's out.
Now, there's only one player in Arsenal that, in his absence, I feel like, there's a cost to fear, and it's Odegaard, right? Like you said, maybe he's come back and it's not really been the Odegaard we know, right? But I'm still not going to write Arsenal off because I know that guy is somebody who I classify as one of those players who carries the team. You don't get that in so many people. Arsenal, they are capable of winning games without Saka. They are capable of winning games without Gabriel Jesus. They are capable of winning games without Trossard, without Thomas Partey, a lot of people. But when Odegaard is not there, you see how they struggle, right? The one thing I would hope that they do with this game this evening is they would understand themselves, knowing these key players who are not there. And Odegaard just needs to step up and say, okay, now these guys, because the truth is, Saka and Odegaard relationship is literally those love birds like we saw in Titanic, right? Jack and Rose. You could literally see how they play around on the pitch. And I'm sure that Odegaard not having Saka is probably going to affect him. But this is where he needs to step up to say, no, me as a creative footballer, I don't want to depend on one person who I'm going to have that relationship with. You know, I need to start looking for how to make my relationship with every other person work. And if he's able to get that one done, I see Arsenal winning games even without these key players. Now, Newcastle, on the other hand, you know, they are that team that they don't bank on one player. These people are giants on the pitch. You know, sometimes when you see Newcastle, you have every reason to fear. And Arsenal, knowing these injuries that they have, trust me, if I'm going by what's going to happen, Arsenal will struggle today.
Well, you mentioned how we don't talk enough about Chris Wood when we talk about strikers. Alex, what about Alexander Isak? Because if someone has been in form of late, it's him. 7 goals in 7 matches. He is 4th in the run for top scorers in the Premier League right now. He's on absolute fire. But then you have the likes of Joe Linton, who I think is very overlooked. You have Bruno Guimaraes.
What about the guy on the left wing?
Anthony Gordon.
Anthony Gordon.
Been brilliant. But it seems like all of these players are all coming into form at the exact same time, which is why we've seen Newcastle turn that corner. But Alex, talk to me a little bit about Isak and his run for top striker right now.
I mean, he's been brilliant. And, you know, we heard what Jamie Carragher had to say about him at the weekend, and perhaps saying he's the best striker in the Premier League at the moment in terms of out-and-out strikers. And, you know, he's, like you said, joint with Cole Palmer, I think, on 12 goals this season in the Premier League. And he does everything so well. He's quick, he's strong on the ball, he can hold the ball up well. He's got a really good shot on him, and you know, he gives defences a real bother. And you know, if I'm an Arsenal defender tonight, I'm going to be worried about him. And I think he's that, not escape, I guess the key for Newcastle, especially if they are going to be defending tonight, he's that escape route where they can send the ball to him and they can, you know, lay it off to Anthony Gordon or Murphy on the right. And you know, they've got some midfielders to come up and help him. But yeah, I've been really impressed by Isak. He's exciting to watch. He has that fearlessness about him, almost when he plays, that he's not bothered about, you know, losing the ball or missing a shot. He's just going to go for it.
Plays with freedom.
Yeah, and yeah, I think he can cause a lot of trouble for that Arsenal defence tonight. Although, having said that, I think it might be a little bit difficult with the injuries and suspensions that Newcastle have in the defence in terms of, you know, missing Lascelles. Nick Pope and Callum Wilson are also out. So I think they might be forced to play a little bit more defensively tonight, which might see Isak take a back seat.
Not to mention that Sandro Tonali, though, has also really turned on and come back from everything that he's had to deal with in football. And we kind of thought that his, you know, signing with Newcastle was going to go the wrong way, and he's also been brilliant. Both teams have injuries, though, because we obviously mentioned Saka, but Sterling's out, Ben White's obviously out, Tomiyasu's out, Kai Havertz is doubtful. So, I mean, we're looking at potentially Gabby Jesus, Martinelli, and Leandro Trossard. But even though this smells like a draw to me, this just, at the Emirates, this is what I think. I think it's very important that Arsenal get the win, because the next leg at St. James's Park, surely that's weighing on Mikel Arteta.
I think so. And, you know, you look at the amount of games that are coming up, obviously a very important Champions League round of fixtures for Arsenal. They've got the FA Cup against Manchester United. You know, I don't want to put the pressure all on Mikel Arteta, but the Carabao Cup is probably his best chance at the moment at a trophy. Obviously, he's still in the title race. Could still very win the FA Cup. He could win the Champions League. But when you look at how Arsenal are coming into this...
Hold on. Let's just laugh at what you just said.
I said could. There's a possibility they're in there. I don't think they will, but they
Bro,
could.
Arsenal cannot could. Okay? Like, listen, right?
So they couldn't. No, what I'm saying
They're
is...
third right now in the Champions League
I think when you look at how Arsenal have done, you know, perhaps they've disappointed when we expected them to do better. At home, they're really strong. Newcastle haven't won at the Emirates since 2010, 15 years ago. I think Newcastle will have that in the back of their minds that we just get a draw tonight, or we keep it to just one goal. You go to St James's Park and you can cause trouble for Arsenal because, well, we saw what happened at St James's Park earlier on this season in the Premier League. Newcastle got the win. So, yeah, I think that will be in the back of Arteta's mind about how he wants to put the tie to bed tonight. And then, you know, with the other fixtures coming along, that will really help him going into that second leg.
All right. Score predictions, gentlemen. KlintonCod, what do you suspect? You've alluded to it, but...
No, I mean, like you said, it's seeming like a draw, but I'm not going to go for a draw. I'm still going to give it to Newcastle. I think it's more like I'm saying like a 2 or 3-1, but I don't know which particular one it is. I'm not hearing it very clearly, but I think it's a 2-1.
Okay, 2-1 to
Win
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Alex?
3-2 Newcastle.
Oh my God, you guys are going for goals in this one. I hope. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I think this is going to be some stinky football because I feel midweek is always a little difficult. And both these two teams haven't had a break, obviously, over the holiday break with the Prem. Like you mentioned, Arsenal have an eye on Manchester United this weekend. I'm not expecting the best. I hope one of you is right, but I'm thinking it's going to be 1-1. That's going to be on SportyTV tonight. 7:30 GMT, 8:30 WAT, so make sure you stay tuned into that. All right, guys, let's move along, and let's talk about some things that we weren't able to get to yesterday because we had too much to talk about coming back from, obviously, our little break. Let's talk some Man City, and then we'll head to La Liga. Man City, back! 2 wins in a row! 4-1, they beat West Ham on Sunday now. It's all a blur. It just keeps coming. It
does.
They did beat West Ham. Holland did score. Back to winning ways, Clinton?
I mean, just one game or... It's just one game so far.
2 games.
Oh,
two games in a row.
Okay.
I mean, you've got to give them their credit.
Yeah, but let's see what happens on the long run. But yeah, I'm happy for them.
Well, we spoke a little bit about yesterday how we can't write them off. Do you think they'll still manage to finish top 4 or win the Prem?
I mean, they say we can't write Manchester City off, okay? Every team usually go, they will have that deep, things don't work out the way you plan for them to go, and sometimes it goes exactly how you want it. Let's just say that Manchester City, they've gone... Listen, football sometimes is like relationships, right? It's like...
Help us.
No, for real, it's like relationships. Sometimes it's sweet, sometimes it's bitter, sometimes it doesn't even have any taste, okay? Now, Manchester City, I think they've gone through that point where in the relationship where the man and the woman, they fought, the woman has been forced to just go on holiday for some reason and, nothing is going on with that relationship. And then all of a sudden, she comes back into the house and everything just seems she just feels refreshed. She feels like now she wants to focus on her husband. And it might be this is where Manchester City have now come into. All they've had all this while is that relationship that's just been blissful. And they've not been arguments. There are relationships like that, although we don't find them very much, obviously. But Manchester City have just been having it so sweet. And all of a sudden, boom, there's a dip. Now, they've had 2 games, winning streak. And fact is, it might just continue from there. It might not be as easy. They might maybe lose 1 or 2. They might draw a few. But what is going on with City now is they are beginning to now adapt to what they have as a team. At some point, they had to depend on players. Now, they are now having to learn that we need to play irrespective of these people we depend on. We need to start beginning to understand ourselves, to know that this is all we have, and we have to survive with it. So at this point, right now, it's almost like some kind of survival instinct coming with Manchester City. And they've seen so many things within the last couple of weeks that they've not seen in a whole years. Like I said, we've never seen Pep. Bro, Pep, the only player in this world that had to... he was bleeding without playing the game. Do you know how crazy that is? Like, this has never happened. Like, we've seen people like Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, everyone is weeping because of a whole long streak of losing games. Losing games to both big teams and even small teams. So now, I think, they've now come to understand that this is us. Somehow we need to make things work. And maybe this is the time.
I think we all knew that City would come good eventually at some point. They would come out the other side of this bad form. Next round of Premier League fixtures, if Newcastle and Chelsea drop points and City win, they're back in the top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're,
Which is very possible.
9 points behind Liverpool, which is, it sounds like a big gap, but Arsenal are 6 points behind Liverpool, and they've got a game in Liverpool.
Bro, 9 points is 3 games, though.
Yep.
So I've kept saying this, and I said this yesterday, I'm not counting City out of the title race until they're mathematically out of it, because I still see them as second favourites.
It's also incredible. Erling Haaland is only two goals behind Mo Salah for, top of the Premier League goal scorer, because he hadn't scored for 4 matches, and then he scored 3 in the last 2 games, and all of a sudden he's right back up there because of all the work that he did prior. But I will say something for City that I noticed that I think is great for just football fans is seeing Savinho really come into his own. He has 3 assists and a goal in the last 2 games. Like he has been the best player for that team in these 2 wins that they've had.
I've always called him a star boy. Remember when he got signed? As a matter of fact, I think the first game I said that, we need to watch out for this man because he's a star boy. This guy is somebody whom at some point is going to be the guy we'll be speaking about in the Premier League a lot. Like Manchester City, they have the quality. One thing we would always give them is their scouting team. They're one of the best in England, if you ask me, right? And they hardly get things wrong. Even when they send out players, they do it strategically. Yes, I understand that Alvarez going to Atletico people felt like, he should have stayed. But Alvarez needed that for himself too. All the opportunities he's having with Atletico, he wouldn't have been having it. But, Manchester City knew they could let him go and they will still have enough to still, carry that Manchester City that we know of. The only problem here is the fact that they had somebody who is very vital to their team injured, which is Rodri. And now they are beginning to now understand that we're not going to have him for a long time. We now have to adapt to ourselves. Now, these little guys are now having to step up, and Savinho is one of these guys. And you could clearly see how fast he is. You see how skillful he is. He's literally a reincarnation of the one from the right wing that's gone to Saudi.
Neymar?
Mahrez,
that's the one. But this is what people think, actually. They see a Mahrez in Savinho, and my man is doing it. I love how he plays. Sometimes it might not go how he would wish it goes for him, but that this boy is a footballer, right? Every other young players in Manchester City, you see them beginning to step up now. And this team, when they are fully, when I say equipped, or when the confidence is fully back, this Man City, they might be unbeatable. So I would go with you to say they are still second when it comes to this title race. Either way, if it eventually finishes.
Imagine if they bring in what they're rumoured to bring in, a certain Egyptian forward who plays for Frankfurt in the
Right, okay. Do we have Mamouche? Where's our Mamouche?
Manchester City. What a day that would be. Yeah, I think we have to remember that we are very early on into the January transfer window, but in 3 weeks' time, it's all gonna be up in the air. So could Omar Marmoush go to Manchester City? I mean, anything is possible. He'll want to make the move. You're going to the Premier League. You're going to Manchester City from Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, he's been brilliant there, but this is like a really big step up.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they needed that replacement for Julian Alvarez.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think he could be the player. And I think also when you look at the cross between the Bundesliga and the Premier League, yes, they are different leagues, but I do think there are some similarities in terms of the physicality you get in the Bundesliga and the Premier League. The pace of the game sometimes can be quite similar. And, you see a player like Omar Marmoush slotting into that Man City style and, the way that they play. And I think he could do really well. And also just, take some of the pressure off Haaland, because if Haaland doesn't score, we've said this a number of times, where do the goals come from? We've seen this. They've really struggled.
I'd love to see a City with Haaland on the bench and like a creative striker up front, just to see how that would work.
Because you see how, Clinton said this, Haaland, he's not a skillful, he's a skillful player, but he's not the one that...
Bro, he's not a skillful player. You see, I've told you guys that my problem with Alex, stop speaking this English. Say the truth and say the truth. Okay. Alan, wait, what skill does Alan have? All Haaland can do is to hold the ball and score the goal.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
No,
takes
you said
skill to do that.
That's not a skill.
That is.
No, Alex. This is football. We know what skill is. We know. If we want to talk about skills, we can. But wait, okay, hold on. Sarah, is Haaland skillful?
I think the thing is, what he's really good at is knowing where to be.
Okay.
In terms of in front of the net.
Good.
Those crossings. I think that does take skill. You have to have an awareness. But I'm
skill
not
that
talking.
he mentioned,
Yeah.
the skill he
I'd say-
mentioned is not that
I'm
kind of
talking
skill.
about him.
No,
and-
hold on.
He's not going to be doing step overs.
Wait, no, listen. Yeah, but
He's
there
not
are,
gonna be
but
doing,
but hold
rainbow
on.
flicks.
No, hold on. But when the way you said it there, right? You said he's not skillful. Sorry, what did you say? You say Haaland is skillful or whatever,
I'd say
right?
he is a skillful player,
Oh,
but
hold on. Okay, stop there. No, stop there.
not in
No,
the conventional way.
wait, hold on, wait. You see? He said he's a skillful player. In football, what do we define as a skillful player?
Neymar.
We know. Thank you. We said Neymar. Even R9 was a skillful player.
Yeah.
You know,
Messi.
these are skillful
Cole
players.
Palmer.
Cole Palmer is a skill. These are skillful players, right? But listen, you being able to kick a ball is a skill. Does that make sense? Now, in that angle, I understand that he possesses some kind of skill.
It's like technical.
Yeah, okay. No, please listen to her more. Yeah.
But yeah, what I'm saying is that there are two very different types of players, and I think when you look at Haaland, perhaps the way that City play, if Marmoush was to come into that squad, I think it would change a little bit. But I think they could change it for the good, and I think he would become quite a good addition to that team if they bring him in.
Personally, I think if Marmoush goes to Manchester City, let every other team in this Premier League, including Liverpool, forget about the title. This guy is actually a beast. Yeah, okay, this is the German league, and maybe there might be some level of adaptation and some kind of changes that might probably affect his game. But you see, sometimes you look at some players, you just know that whichever league they go to, they're still going to perform. I feel like with his skill sets, Omar Mamouche, from what I've seen so far, Manchester City would fit him. If they are going for him, they should better go for him. Trust me. He's a proper replacement for Julian Alvarez.
Marking Day saying, what about Lewandowski?
What about Lewandowski?
Going to Man City. I don't think that would happen.
I don't think that's
Can you
gonna
imagine?
happen.
Hang on, is Markinde asking if Lewandowski is skillful or is he going to City? We don't know when that question came in, but
I mean, both questions,
is Lewandowski skillful?
I'd say so.
Is Lewandowski skillful to you?
Of course.
Right. I don't see him as a skillful player. He has skills, but he's not a skillful player to me.
You're talking like technical. I mean, he dominated Europe.
No, he has.
Never.
Like, he's a goal scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I don't see any difference between a what's it called? A Nicholas Jackson, yeah. And what's it called? And Lewandowski, right? It's just that Lewandowski is operating on a higher level. He's like the Pro Max. He's made his name. Let me tell you one thing. One thing I wish Lewandowski did was to play in the Premier League. Trust me, that's something I would love to see. Sometimes I feel like we should change football, right? Before you are crowned a king in whatever you do, yeah, including Lionel Messi. I'm not just saying it for one person. I want every player to have tasted every single league, and that's the one credit I give to Cristiano Ronaldo, right? The fact that my man has gone round. Obviously, he's not gone to the German league, which I feel like if you've gone through the Premier League, La Liga, and Serie A, I mean, German league, I don't think you need to. You've conquered literally 3 of them, right? So I would have loved to see most players, at least at some point in their lifetime, go through the Premier League. Let's see something.
Would you take Lewandowski at Man United?
Right now, I would. No, I think I would, because I feel like he's a mature player. It's not like Manchester United. We don't have. I think there's some level of. I think I would. I might, maybe for like a year or something, but I'm not going to take him anything longer than that.
Well, your boy Victor Boniface wants no business in the Premier League, so not everyone wants to go. A quick update for you guys that Bournemouth have officially signed Argentine right back Julio Soler from Lanús. So the youngster will be coming over to the Cherries.
Markinde, I agree with you, by the way. Thank you. I think he literally explained everything I was trying to explain. Anything Lewandowski is, Haaland is. Simple. Thank you, bro. That was literally the best thing I've read online today.
You're comparing, though, it's quite different because we don't know if Haaland's going to have the longevity. I think you have to give credit to Lewandowski for the longevity.
Longevity, good, we're just speaking about the style of play right now. You know, who...
Yeah, I don't know. I know I see, like, the similarities, but... yeah, I'm not too sure. Let's talk about La Liga, though, a little bit, or rather, the Spanish Supercoppa, or rather, Vinicius Jr., because we missed this a lot yesterday, and I know, Clinton, you had a lot to say here. So let's wrap up the show in Spain. Real Madrid beat Minera 5-0. Arda Güler getting on the board twice in that one. And And Barcelona also beat Barbastro 4-0. Now Barcelona will be taking on Athletic Bilbao tomorrow. And Real Madrid will be taking on Muriqui and Guillem, Mallorca, on Thursday. And then, of course, the final will be on Sunday. But big wins for both Spanish sides. The big talking point here, though, is that Real Madrid last Friday had their makeup game against Valencia at the Mestalla, and they won. Last-minute goal for Jude Bellingham in this one. But it was all about Vinicius Jr, Alex, being sent off once again. Now facing up to 12 matches, 4 to 12. I think it will come down. I don't think it's going to be 12, but that's what they're saying right now. Before I get to you, Clinton, I'm going to go to Alex because I feel a rant coming this way. So let me just get his opinion before, give him a chance here. Alex, what are your thoughts on all of this? Because I think we all have something to say. So let's try and get through all three of us. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think, touching on the win as a whole, I think shows good grit from this Real Madrid team to, obviously missing the penalty, Bellingham, and then getting the goal at the end. But I think when you look at the Vinny incident, it's the difficult one. Obviously, Ancelotti has spoken about how obviously we have to understand that the amount of insults he gets on a day-to-day basis when it comes to whether it be social media or when he goes on the pitch, and you take that into account. But I also do think that a player should be able to control himself not to push an opposition player. I think, I think you've got to think of your teammates in this case, and the fact that you're angry, yes, is understandable, and you want to react, but I think you have to think of the effect it will have on your teammates and the game. And if you push a player, you could be out for quite a long time. He's he's Real Madrid's most important player, arguably, in the forward line. And when you look at the potential ramifications, I think you have to look at it, and as a player you have to learn to control your anger. But I understand that he will be angry, but I think you have to learn to control that anger.
Clinton, your thoughts?
This is a very difficult one. Each time it's time to speak about Vinicius Jr. Now, see, I just feel like Vinicius needs to go to some anger management course for at least 6 weeks. Because we can clearly see that, that young man, that arrogant person keeps coming out somehow, right? I understand that you might be going through all kinds of racial stuff, people insulting you, abusing you, or sometimes I feel like you also give them the reason to do it, yeah? Because he's not the only black player in Spain. He's not the only person who plays on the left wing. He's not the only most popular player wherever he is. Like, sometimes I feel like he needs to relax, yeah? There are some things you can overlook. There are things that you can just decide to ignore. It's not like when you look at the behavior he had in that particular game, I felt like he was extremely overreacting. Why do you have to... Bro, to me, it's just taking me back to my life in Nigeria, right? In my boarding school. And obviously, the environments where we grew up in, these are like proper rough environments where, people would use axe, they were using, we won't go extreme, especially when fights decide to bust out, right? And this is the behavior I keep seeing from Vinicius. I say to people who watch Real Madrid games, if only you would see 50% of his behavior, real life on the pitch, that the camera does not tend to show you, you would even know, you would dislike the behavior even more. We only see 10% of Vinicius on the pitch on TV, and people are even complaining that, this guy needs to chill. People don't see the ones that the fans see. My man is just like, these are the things where you need to tell somebody, bro, you need to rest. You need to just relax, just chill, just let your football speak for you. If I was him, this is what I'm going to do. I'm literally going to shut people up with what I do on the pitch.
The skill.
My skill, my goals, my assists. This is what I would do. Instead of always wanting to find somebody to go and back at it. If it's not a ref, it's your position, or there's always something. And it's beginning to be irritating. Bro, I love Real Madrid. But you see this?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Let's take a look at what Carlo Ancelotti has to say about the situation, and then I'll give my 2 cents.
I think it's difficult to be Vinicius. I'm not him, but if I were to put myself in his shoes, it's difficult to endure everything that has come his way and everything that is happening now, all the insults and the like. So it's not easy, but he tries to be better, to endure it. Obviously, he's sad about the red card and has said sorry, but we have to look forward now.
I'm going to be really frank about this situation because we got to also wrap up pretty quickly. But I agree with you, Clinton. I think these are two separate situations. I think the racism that Vinny receives from fans is absolutely unacceptable. But I think Vinicius' reactions and the way he plays on the pitch is a different thing. You can't tell me that he's facing racism and that's why he's diving on the pitch, because he goes down quite easily. Also, from my understanding, and I made sure to look into this, but the keeper from Valencia didn't say anything insulting. Like, I mean, he probably, you know, said something, but it wasn't about race. Players are going to talk smack to each other. This is football. This is any other sport. That doesn't give you the right to go and then hit him like this. I think the thing is with Vinny is that we know this is Valencia. We know that they have a very bad past with the way they've treated Vinny. I absolutely understand that. But I don't think that that means that Vinny can go around and treat another player like this who hasn't given him any racial abuse, from my understanding, as we know of right now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think these are two separate things. Also, I completely agree. There are going to be really horrible people in the world always. And I think it's more of a La Liga needs to take action on that. But as a player, you need to leave it on the pitch.
Bro, listen, the truth about life is going to be life. You're not going to be the first black player on the pitch. You're not going to be the last. Listen, there are still black players in the La Liga playing. Are you telling me that why is Vinny the only one they see? No, I've lived in Spain for a couple of months now. I've gone through racism, I can't lie. Like horrible ones. One day I'm going to speak about them. But it doesn't mean I'm going to start becoming a nuisance just because, you know, there are some people who don't understand that life have moved past. So there's nothing La Liga can do. You cannot change humans. Listen, tell me, are you trying to... How many people do they want to ban from coming into the stadium? He just needs to live with the fact that this is what life is about.
Yeah.
He needs to be an example to every other person who is fighting this whole racial issues. And the way he's going about it, I'm telling you, is so wrong. And it's not going to help him. Let me tell you what his behavior is going to continue doing. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys for free, Vinicius' behavior to all these things going on with him in the La Liga, the whole whatever, is going to go worse with the behavior that he keeps putting up on the pitch.
All right. Well, on that, let's leave it at that. We'll probably talk more about this as the week goes on. Real Madrid obviously playing Thursday against Mallorca, but coming up right after this, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this comment and I'm just gonna leave it there because I really enjoy Vinicius Jr. as a player, and I think that's what Clinton and I are the most upset about, is that we're seeing a player who's so talented and one of the best players in the world. Unfortunately, their attitude towards the game is, I think, weakening him as a player. I think that's the biggest thing. And we've seen this happen to players, and it's a bit of a loss for us as fans. But let's see. Let's hope for the best for Vinny, and hopefully he can turn it around. He's still young. Maybe he just, you know, grows up.
Vinny would not survive in England.
Yeah.
I'm telling you for real.
All right. Guys, coming up right after this, it's the Saudi Super Kings Cup. Saudi's King Cup coming up right after this. And later tonight, Arsenal, Newcastle, Carabao Cup on SportyTV. We will see you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same place. But until then, as always, enjoy the football.
Ebwe. Kiki. Boo!